Where's the party?
Well, hello, Sue,
Hi, Shelley.
and welcome to the Fun Grandma Podcast. We are now in Season 2, Episode 2, and we did something that was a little crazy for us.
It was a lot crazy.
Oh my gosh, we did a live podcast.
And you know what? I didn't even know how much fun I had at the live podcast until I watched it back.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh my gosh, there was so much happening. And then when I watched it, I was like, I did have fun. I did have fun. And others had fun.
That's right. I'm so glad we documented it so that we could know that we had fun.
That's right.
Right, because in Fun Grandma, that's what we're supposed to be about.
Yeah.
But it was called Shenanigans, and it was aptly named. It was so great. There was so much going on. There was fire, and we talked about travel. Anyway, I'm so excited for you to hear the different interviews that we had, to hear from these wonderful ladies, because we were talking about women and celebrating. Well, we were celebrating 25 years of a ministry that Sue founded, and I get to be a part of now. It's awesome. And to celebrate that, we were lifting up women that we admire for building the kingdom of God. And that is a really cool deal. And what we learned in the end is that all of us have gifts and talents that God would love to use to advance his kingdom.
It was fun to see the diversity in that.
Yes.
So I think you'll really enjoy it and have fun watching it.
Yeah, so join us in Shenanigans.
Well, welcome. Hello, Sue.
Hi, Shelley.
And welcome to the first ever live Fun Grandma podcast. We were just so glad to be here.
I know, I love it.
Yes, thank you for welcoming our listeners. But we also want to introduce our beautiful audience
Yeah,
here. Let's go
they
ahead and
are
say hello with a big woohoo. Are you ready? Here we go.
Woo!
Yeah, we're doing it. This is so great. And properly, today is named Shenanigans, because we've got so many crazy shenanigans things planned.
Yeah.
See, things are just going off. They're playing. The music's playing. It is shenanigans. That is what today is all about. And that's because we are celebrating 25 years of amazing women's ministry, Valley Girls. And to do that, we are talking to women who have been at it, building the kingdom of God. And so today is just going to be fantastic.
Oh, Christy, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Fun Grandma. Don't you wish we were sitting on the dock of the bay?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any bay.
That's right.
Okay. So, Christy, you have got to tell us what I've known Christy. We were just figuring out for maybe 45 years.
Except we're only 40.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well, and what you might not know about our friend Christy is she is a travel aficionado.
Ooh.
If you follow her at all, or maybe you've benefited, I don't know. I wonder how many people have traveled with her. She takes her friends with her. So anyway, we're going to pick her brain a bit on some fun stuff there.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Christy, what inspired you to help people travel?
I think that we work way too hard in our lives. Like, I worked 50 hours in 4 days this week. And that's just a lot. That's a lot of mental load. And so one of my gifts and talents I've been given is I'm a gatherer and I'm a planner. So if you say, I'm going to the Oregon coast, I'm immediately like, they should stay here, they should do this, they should travel here, they should maybe drive, or if you're going to Hawaii, oh, you got to rent this car. It's going to be the best for your family. And it's just natural. And so you're barely saying, I'm going to go somewhere, and I'm already processing the whole process. Yeah, it's just natural. And I want to use that gift for all my friends.
It's perfect. Well, so how do you see this gift helping you build the kingdom? I know you love Jesus. You love to see people grow closer to him. So how have you seen God using this gift that maybe people don't think about being a kingdom builder?
Well, I think that we do need to honor our gifts. Like, some of you are amazing entertainers, and you can cook. Like my friend Marty over there, she can put a feast out. That's not my gift. No. But I'm definitely a gatherer and a planner. And so if I love, like, Debbie Ward is a great example. She'll call and be like, hey, we want to go to San Luis Obispo and visit an elderly family member. I am on that computer as fast as I can, planning that trip, saving her money. That way they can sow into the kingdom in other ways because I've saved them good deals. I don't charge for my services. I just love to do it. And then, she gives me a little gift card to say thanks, which isn't even necessary. So I feel like I'm using my time and talents God's given me so she can use hers in other ways.
That's awesome. So where should we all save to go to? Like, where is the place we should go and rest and have fun?
You guys are taking
Where?
out your
Yeah.
notes on your phone?
Yeah.
Here we go. This is going to be good.
My first tip is to start a savings account for travel, even if you only can put $10 at a time, in a bank account you can't access. So I have a savings account in Spokane, and it is specifically for travel. I can't touch it. I have to call them, and they have to send me a check, right? That way, that money is sacred. You know, it's not just in a drawer, but it is perfectly set aside. It may not be much, right? Also, though, there's lots of tips and tricks to save a lot of money. I think everyone needs to go to Hawaii. And I have a sweet story about that. This last February, we took 20 friends to Hawaii, and one of them was one of my friends from high school. And we spent 10 days chasing sunsets and having dinners and watching the whales poke their tails up every day and just resetting. You know, when you set your feet in the sand and the grass, you reset your whole body and you are peaceful. And you remember, if God has this huge ocean, he must really be present in my life. And we got home, and 2 days later, she passed away. But I called her sons, and I felt guilty that I had spent 10 days with her, right? And they said, absolutely not. She was at peace and the happiest she'd ever been. And so I think spending time with people in sacred spaces like Hawaii is a requirement. Let's do it, right?
I like how you think.
Shelley and I just figured out we're going together. I know.
You know a little bit of my itinerary.
Just a little.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Right. Well, so with all this, do you have a packing tip for us or something when we are going on that trip?
I do. Super easy packing tip. Don't overpack. You know, don't take 5 pairs of shoes. You need 2. One for the plane, one for the walking around, right? You don't need to change your shoes every day. These people don't know you. You know, you can wear the same dress over and over. Nobody cares. And if you care, then you're probably not in my group, you know? And the other thing, a lot of people don't realize, you can travel with food. We take half of a hard-side suitcase with food. Tortillas, bread, bagels, cream cheese, butter, all of that comes with us. Because Hawaii, the food's really expensive, like a loaf of bread's $8. Well, it's $2 at Walmart. So we literally have a list on our phone of all the basics, and one whole suitcase is just food. And that way, when we get there, we're just buying fresh things, right? So we're saving all this money by eating in our room, breakfast and lunch. And then we just go out to a dinner someplace to watch a sunset, of course. And so take your food with you. You know, the airlines, they don't care. As long as you check a bag, you can take 50 pounds or whatever. We take frozen chicken and meat, and then we grill it when we get there. It stays totally frozen.
Really?
I know.
So Brad is going to be looking at me like, what are you doing? I'll just say, call Christy.
That's right. You remember, Christy.
One time, this guy told me he spent $150 on meat at Safeway. I'm like, I brought it from my freezer from home. He looked at me like I was crazy. I was totally serious. You know, save money. Then you can travel more.
Okay, well, you heard it first here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that is awesome.
I'm going to invite Christy up along with Brittany. And Brittany has agreed to come up and address. So, Christy, if you would come up real quick. We forgot to give you a chance. So if you can think back, I know that. Did you have any questions about travel that you would like for Christy? I mean, you've got her right here. So, and
Totally
Aiden's
forgot.
got a mic right here. So if you have a question for Christy, just raise your hand and we'll come to you. Be brave.
Don't be shy.
Who's going to ask Christy? Who needs to know a tip? Okay.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Okay, great. It's all for you, Christy.
Do you have suggestions for something that's like to be a retreat event, like either a creative retreat or a writing retreat, or just something where it's for accomplishing kind of something that's not just going out and enjoying the scenery and stuff, but that there's like stuff that's happening close by.
Are you wanting a suggestion of a place to go or a retreat that's already set up?
No, a place to go.
Okay. Well, the Bly House in Winchester is a pretty great location. There's actually a really great place in Pomeroy called Rotherby's that's set up for quilters and scrapbookers and creative folks. We spent a lot of time at Camp Saunders in the last years. They just had a fire. But also, Shelley and I, many years ago, we rented a hotel room and took some girls and took our supplies and just set them up in the hotel room, and we potlucked it. And I was talking to a girl last night in Clarkston, and their church has a once-a-month craft night, which I think is a great idea. So it could be crafty or creative. You don't even have to go out of town. But I think setting time, that sacred space time, where your phone's off and your kids are well cared for and your husband's fed or your other person's fed, is super important. So if you can't go to Hawaii, which a lot of people can't, right? Slip away to a neighboring town or just go to your girlfriend's house and set your phones aside and make creative space. I hope that's helpful.
Good idea. Good idea.
Thank you, Christy. All
thank
right,
you.
I think that is great. And so next, we're gonna.
What's your view on cruises? Like all inclusive?
I love cruises. Shelly and I went on a cruise last year, 24 of our friends in the Eastern Caribbean. And if you get together with your group of friends, you can get really good discounts. Our cruise was like $700 for 7 nights, plus airfare. But I think Shelly probably went for like $1,500. And so if you save, I know that sounds like a lot to a lot of people, right? She saved $50 every 2 weeks, and all your meals are provided when you get on the ship. So you don't have to spend any money once you're on the ship. So I recommend it. And if you want to friend me on Facebook, I'd love it. And you can just message me, and I will help you plan whatever girls or whatever getaway you like for free.
She really
She's
will.
just like so generous.
Yeah.
So thank you, Christy.
Welcome, Sydney Beeson.
Thank you.
Sydney, I wouldn't ask anyone else this question, but I'm going to ask you. How old are you?
25.
25. She's 25. So when we started Valley Girls, she was in the same place that her daughter is in right now. Yes, isn't that awesome? That is so awesome. So
Just think about that.
yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for being here. And Sydney just really radiates the love of Jesus. And as we talk about being kingdom builders, we all are kingdom builders. Some of us are building the kingdom in a big, amazing
Organizations,
corporate, right?
Sure, or public, but it isn't always that way.
And the way that you're building kingdom is a way that we all need to hear. Okay? So, here's a question for you. How do you, in the season of having a toddler and a baby to be, how do you stay in rhythm, any kind of rhythm for spiritual growth? How do you stay spiritually healthy while taking care of a home, a toddler, and being, how many months along are you?
Oh, gosh. It's my second, and so I'm already losing track. Yeah, I'm almost to my 3rd trimester.
Okay.
I know
all
that
right.
much.
Okay. No trick question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you do that?
Well, I think that for the last year, I've been trying to figure that out. Right. Because everyone has this idea of what a quiet time needs to be and how you need to, be before the Lord, and I have my coffee, and the sun's rising, and my child's sleeping peacefully. That's not how it goes. That's how I thought it would go.
So how does it go? What does it look like?
Right. So now it's a lot of, so my son on his walls, we have a couple of, because we wanted him to be a part of all of this. So we have framed up on his walls, we have a couple of liturgies, which are basically these prayers that we go through with him when he wakes up. So it's the way we start our day. And mainly it's for me. And to get my attitude in check, because otherwise, if I'm getting up with him and then panicking and, okay, breakfast, and just it's just life, and you get stressed out, and it's just a moment for me to take a breath with him. And so we do that when he wakes up, and then we have another one for when he goes to sleep.
Oh, that is so...
What a great practice.
Yes.
That's awesome, and it's right there on the wall?
Yep, and it's on his wall in his room. And so we do that, and then something we've started doing as a family is either during breakfast or dinner, we're doing a devotion together. We signed up for one that comes to our door every month. So now, basically, we get it every month, and if we aren't caught up and it comes to our door, we're like, ooh, okay, we need to get on this. And so it also keeps us accountable to doing that as a family. And so those are some of the rhythms and the things that we've been doing. And then on top of that, this was a conversation years back with Ryan and Jackie King that we had. And it really stuck with me. It's this concept of statio. So it's a Latin word that basically means the moments between moments. And I think the big challenge at the time was like, what are you doing with those moments? What are you doing when you're driving from point A to point B? Or when my son's asleep and I'm doing dishes, what am I doing? How could I be using it wiser? So spending time in the Word or prayer and just really considering what those moments are.
That's awesome.
That's really wise.
That is really wise. They've already pre-decided how they're going to start their day and how they're going to end their day, right? And it's right there. And then the new devotional comes to you, and you're like, we got to get through the old one to start the new one. Great.
I just love that. Well, and I have the privilege of being a little related to Sid. She's married to... No way. Yep, she's married to my nephew. So I get to kind of, sideways observe some things. And I just noticed that you guys, instead of taking your baby season as kind of a break from church life, which, I don't fault anybody for that. I guess it can get busy. I just love how you guys are still serving. And then you also seem so involved with your neighbors. Yes. So I was just thinking, how could you just talk to us a bit about why you and Ben prioritize that and value that and some of the things that have come about because of that?
Yeah, I think something that we think about a lot, so in Hebrews 10, I think it's 24 through 25, it talks about what it looks like to be in community and not to isolate ourselves. And I think even when we were first married, that's something that we really wanted to take to heart, because even in marriage and being newly married, it's easy to isolate yourself. And so I think that's just something that we've really wanted to make sure that we make top priority, is being in community. And I think also my husband and I are both Gen Z, and Gen Z has been labeled the lonely generation. And there's many reasons why, but I think just with knowing that we want to be involved with people and we want to be face-to-face. We've actually gotten rid of all of our social media because we've noticed that that's something that hinders you from that face-to-face interaction. And then that hinders you from having godly conversations. And so, yeah, that's huge. And then also, we moved into our house 2 years-ish ago, and I remember walking through it with my husband, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it. And then as we got into the car after the showing, he looked at me and he was like, I saw this image of tables in our backyard and people coming through the back gate. And I was sitting there like, are you sure?
This is not my image.
I was just excited about a house. Now you're talking about hosting and things. Cool. And who are these people just coming through our back gate? And he's like, they're our neighbors. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't know how, I don't want to talk to him. Honestly,
You don't want to talk to him? Is that what you said?
Yes, I don't want to talk to him. I'm much more introverted. My husband is so extroverted. He's a true Beeson. And he was like, yeah, that's what we're here for. And so, it was definitely a lot of him, and immediately we moved in, and he's like, okay, Sydney, get to baking bread. We're going to deliver it, and we're going to get to know these guys. And then immediately, he knew all their names, and I'm asking him, okay, what's this person's name again? What's this person's name? And now we have gotten to know them so well, and there's one couple in particular who live next door to us where we almost once a week now hang out with them and share meals together. And we've had just conversations about God and where they're at. And we're actually going to their wedding tonight, which is wonderful. And so, yeah, it's been definitely a whirlwind. I didn't think that we'd be getting this close to our neighbors, but I mean, that's also what we're called to do. And I mean, it doesn't have to just be the door right next door to your door, like the person living next door to you. But yeah, that's just what it's become.
That's awesome.
Just love what God's done.
Remember that book, The Gospel Comes with a House Key? You're living that, sister.
You
That is beautiful. Okay.
So
Well,
who would have a question for Sid? Anybody? Okay, all right. Go ahead.
go ahead, Amber.
So you baked bread. How do you, did your husband go and knock on the doors? How did they get the neighbors to come? Because I have not met any of my neighbors because I'm definitely afraid of having any type of conversation with anybody. So how did you start it?
No, that's it. That's exactly the boat I was in. And honestly, we just did it. I actually made the bread. And I was like, so we're going over there? And he's like, yeah, we're going over there. We're going to knock on the door, and we're going to talk to them. I was like, oh, we're going to talk to them? Okay, let's do it. And, it just started with one tiny conversation right then, and now it's like, oh, hey, how's it going? They're outside Dave or, Jesse or whoever's out, just, oh, what you doing? What's going on? And just those little conversations just build upon each other, and that relationship just starts to bloom, and we're really getting to see the fruits of that now. It's beautiful. Yeah.
That was a great question. Thank you. I think we are all wondering, what's the first step? So that was great. That was great. All right, you guys, you know what it's time for. I think we've trained ourselves. Thank you so much, Sid.
Yeah, Sydney,
This
you're
is
amazing.
just fantastic.
All right,
All right.
our next guest is definitely a kingdom builder of love. Yeah. Miss Marty Beck. Marty.
I'm kind of nervous.
You are?
Well, she is our last guest.
Yeah.
We're about to do something all together, but just real quick, we're going to find out a few things from Marty, and then she's going to take us through something really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope.
Yes.
So, Marty, you are the epitome of kingdom builder in so many ways. I've been in connection with Marty for decades. She gets involved with people, and if she sees someone that needs a friend, that needs, I've just seen her do so many things. But recently, you've been doing something new. So can you share with us the platform that you've been using recently so that they could look you up on?
Yeah, I used to think that platforms were platforms, but platforms. So many of you know that my son passed away, just died. Healthy person, died. And it's been about 1.5 years ago. And so it's really hard to reconcile party hardy Marty with grieving mom. And so the Lord just gave me a promise when we were going through this, and he promised that good would come out of this. Good will come out of this. It's a stretch, let me tell you. It's a painful stretch. But after it's been 1.5 years, and Carrie Reinhardt and myself, we went to a conference, and it was probably 3 months after my son had died, and all the speakers had written or talked about grief. I never thought I would ever be talking about grief, because I do fun stuff, not grieving stuff. But the Lord's called me out on this one. And so during this conference with another friend of ours, we're like, we need to really talk about this topic, grief, because grief enters our lives through many, many doors, not just death. It comes from estrangement. We have grandparents raising grandkids that the parents are gone. We have our sons and our daughters being attacked by drugs and drugged down. We have marriages falling apart, people falling apart, and it all ends in grief. Grief is not something we get through. It is something we have to travel with. And so we started doing good grief gatherings. And if you hang out with me, I hope you're going to be able to laugh. We talk about some hard things, but we're also going to do some creative activity. So we started doing their very, very small gatherings. We like to keep them less than, actually 4 people, plus the team that helps me, but 4 people that have been through a life-changing event that's resulted in them grieving and possibly getting stuck in that grief. And we talk about things like kintsugi. No, it's not a New Age thing. It's the Japanese art of putting things back together. We talk about Kriya, which is a Jewish tradition of tearing your clothes when you're grieving. It's biblical. I'm not going to ask you to tear your clothes off when you come to visit me.
That's good.
But anyway, as far as platforms, so then I started to think, how can I share this? How can you stay intimate and then share, you know? So at our Good Grief gatherings, it's just small, intimate gatherings, and we talk about different things. But then I also started a Instagram channel or whatever.
Yes, it is an
It's a
Instagram.
huge learning curve, people. I mean, whenever they introduce you with a vintage song, you know, and I happen to know the words to that. Anyway, so I've had to learn how to do Instagram videos, and so it's a collection of just things that hopefully will make you think and make you happy.
And
Did I cover it?
what is it
did,
called?
yes.
What is it called?
Oh,
So if people
yeah.
want to find you, because it's not, they don't find you under Marty Back.
No,
Yeah.
I like to stay obscure. I wanted to start small. So far, it's not been a problem. So when we had 2 followers, we were like, woo! Okay, I think we're up to 147 now, but who's counting? So, yeah, I've learned you probably should have a title that is easy, but no. So it's called Table Time Tidbits. Table, T-A-B-L-E. Time as in the spice, T-H-Y-M-E, and tidbits. And so what I do on that is I do some fun things, cooking things, table, time, you know, spice it up, and tidbits, things I've learned along the way. So
Yeah.
would
think
love
it'd be
to
a good
have
one to
you
check out.
get me up to 149 followers.
Let's do it, ladies.
Okay, table, time, tidbits.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, be
It's
sure
good.
to
I've
like
watched
that.
them.
Yeah.
And they're a couple
follow,
of them.
follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I redid a table and like 3,000 people saw it, and I was like, how'd that happen? Oh, we got a little,
See, that was easy. All right. Well, Marty, to kind of conclude,
You want me to conclude?
well,
Okay.
we just want to know, like we asked Heather this too, we're asking this doozy of a question, but what kind of legacy would you like to leave?
Oh, definitely. I am getting nearer to my expiration date. And I do aspire to inspire before I expire, and the date's coming up. So anyway, I really want people to be able, you know, when they're rolling those pictures at your funeral, I want them to say she followed Jesus. She was flawed, and she probably drank too much wine, but that's okay. And I just want them to know, I always think Jesus was probably this really fun guy. Yeah, and he broke rules. And I've been known to break a few rules. And so I just want people to know that following Jesus is fun. It is fun, it's community, it's not doing life alone. It's not doing life alone. And so, yeah. And yeah, I aspire to inspire before I expire.
That's a great catchphrase.
And by golly, she is doing that.
Doing a great job.
So somebody's got to have a question for
Absolutely.
Marty.
Brittany's got
Okay.
one right there.
Okay, you got to have questions because, oh yeah.
Well,
okay, I know
we need
Brittany.
some kind of mic.
Shout it out, girl.
Okay, when are you gonna have a next shindig up at
Oh,
your house?
yes,
'Cause
and you
we
know-
have some friends that I'm sure haven't been up there and would like to
Okay.
experience.
You know, Winchester is becoming a destination place.
Obviously.
It is. We love Winchester. In fact, we talk about selling our house in Winchester, and my grandson
no,
says,
thank
like,
you.
no. I'm like, well, somebody better come mow the lawn then. So anyway, you know, we've kept it very small and very. So I would like to do one in November. I know because I'm going to Arizona for a month because I hear it's getting cold in Winchester, so I've got to get out of there. So, but then we'll be back. So probably in November. So if anybody's interested in, you know, maybe expressing an interest in coming gathering with us, just give me your name and number and I just start calling. I really like to keep it small though, because real sharing can only occur in a really small space. Yeah, we call it our red tent.
Marty knows this, but I think this is so funny. When I was with Marty when she was sharing about this, and this gal at the table said, I'm going to start reading the obituaries and see if there's anybody I feel sad about so I can see if I can go to the good grief. I'm like,
Is that person here? We're like, who was that
no,
told
she's
us
not
that?
here. Or I would have called her out.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to start hanging out at the nursing
She's
home, so
very
I have something to
young.
cry about.
She's very young.
Okay, well.
Okay. Awesome. So you get to take this tile home and remind yourself that you are a kingdom builder, right? You are a girl on fire.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we just want to conclude today's podcast first by thanking all the people who prepared food, all the amazing decorations. I mean, all from Marty's inspiration, but all the people who helped with that. We want to thank our tech people today, Caitlin and Aiden. Aiden happens to be our podcast producer, so he does more than you realize. So we're really thankful for him. We also want to thank our podcast guests, and of course, Marty for providing this really fun, and our panelists early. Thank you, Angie, for helping us understand what a podcast is. And of course, Cynthia, who shared her gifts really generously today. We were really grateful to her. And we are just so thankful to God that there's been 25 years of Valley Girls ministry, and of course we pray that there's many, many more years to come. And we are so praying that you leave today inspired, knowing that each of us can be a kingdom builder. So we just thank you for turning out today, and we thank those who might be tuning in to be listening to all the fun that we had today. So thank you for being a part of our first Fun Grandma Live podcast. Thanks for being here. We do have one parting thought. This is something that we just want to really embrace at Fun Grandma, and this is it. Is let's always make love our greatest aim. Okay, so we'll agree to do that. So ladies, go out there, build the kingdom, and let love be your greatest aim.